Welcome back to part two of the Christopher Columbus. Who is he? Who is this guy? So, as we covered in part one, we already know the background of Christopher Columbus and his upbringing. So, now we're going to talk about the Christopher Columbus as an adult. So, he believed that based on the biblical principles in the Bible that he had access to growing up, that he would be able to reach the Indies because in his version of the Bible, he had it to where it said there are six parts of land and one part water, which meant everything had to be connected by water, which is true. However, I could not find that in my translation of the Bible. Nonetheless, Christopher Columbus believed this. And so when he started to pander to be able to get money to fund his expedition to the West Indies for the dollars and the spices and all the riches that come from that, he truly believed not only was he interested in the monetary gains from that, but he believed that in his heart that he would reach that because of his biblical principles. So hands down to him on one sense for biblical principles, but we'll leave it at that. We're going to pause there. Part three, we'll cover more of that. Goodness. All right. So in 1484, he approached the King of Portugal to find riches in the Indies, and the king's scientists were like, whole lot of no, because Columbus's math wasn't really adding up, and they were like, the King of Portugal's advisors were like, I don't think so about this guy. All right, so then he approached Spain to fund his expedition, using the excuse to expand Christendom, which Christendom is essentially expanding Christianity to a new world, new places, new areas. So this was very intriguing to the King of Spain and the King and Queen of Spain at the time. However, they were already embattled with a battle with the Moors, and they were really working on pushing them out of Spain. They did not want them there because the Moors were, in general, they were Muslim. They were not Christian faith, and Spain wanted to be Christendom, and which is mainly Catholicism currently. So with that, they were not ready to fund or finance this expedition, even though they were very interested in spreading the word of God in their sense of it. But after they had went ahead and after the King and Queen of Spain, it was King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain. After they took care of the Moor problem, then they decided, okay, we're going to go ahead and finance this expedition with Christopher Columbus. However, it took 3 months of negotiations for them to be able to finally say, all right, we're going to give you the dollars, because Christopher Columbus had certain conditions that he wanted to make sure he was getting his fair share. Of course, the crown wanted their fair share, but he wanted to make sure, hey, don't forget me. I'm the reason it's happening. One of his things was he wanted the right to rule the land he conquered. Another thing, he wanted to be promoted to nobility and even given his own coat of arms. He also wanted 10% of the profits from the land, and he wanted the title Admiral of the Ocean Sea, according to Spain. So these were very specific things he wanted to make sure that he had, not only the fame by getting nobility, being promoted to nobility and given a coat of arms, which is a huge thing during this early 1400s to 1500s, actually all the way up until the 1700s. That's still a huge thing. But he also wanted to make sure that he could conquer the land. So he didn't just want to have a title with no responsibility. He wanted to have a title and conquer the people below him. Then he also wanted to make some dollars. He wanted 10% of the riches, and he wanted an official title, not only as nobility, but he also wanted to be known as Admiral of the Ocean Sea. So on August 3rd of 1942, or 1492 rather, pardon me, he left with the Nina Pina and Santa Maria. He stopped at the Canary Islands to restock for wood, water, meat, the basics to survive a voyage. And then he headed west. On October 12th of 1492, he landed probably somewhere in one of the small islands of the Bahamas, Samona Cay. Then he traveled into the Caribbean to find gold. When he found the gold, he thought he had reached India, and where he actually founded Hispaniola. Now, in January of 1493, he returned home, returned to Spain to explain and get all the prominence he had really negotiated for 3 months to receive. So, in part 3, we will go into the next chapter of Christopher Columbus, the real story.